Yesterday, I discovered that I gender punctuation. I read the short story Help the Witch by Tom Cox from the collection of the same name, and immediately the first sentence is "I have arrived!" exclamation mark. And as soon as I saw the exclamation mark, I immediately thought that this story was being told from the female perspective. There were no other clues there. You don't get told the character's gender, who turns out to be male, until 30 pages into the story. And for those 30 pages, I had spent the entire time assuming that this person was a woman. And naturally then, all of the actions that they made, I perceived to be being done by a woman. The reason that I thought that this character was a woman was all because of an exclamation mark. Firstly, I come here to find out whether anyone else has ever done this, whether they gender things based upon punctuation or the tone of a story or stylistic choices the writers made to write in a certain way. Will that then get you thinking that this may be being told from a certain gendered perspective? It was only when I was about 5 pages before the discovery that this person was in fact male that I began to question whether indeed my first opinion of this character was the correct one, or whether I'd got the entire thing wrong. As we now know, I'd got the entire thing wrong, all because of an exclamation mark. I hadn't realised how much I had gendered this punctuation mark. I found the first line, "I have arrived!" exclamation mark, somewhat reminiscent of Kate Atkinson in Behind the Scenes at the Museum. Because I found it reminiscent, I then immediately began to read it as though this character was female. If you get a chance to read that story, then do have a look yourself. See whether you agree. Do you think that we ascribe certain genders to certain punctuation, certain ways of talking? Would we look at a more grandiloquent book and think that this was a woman talking or a man talking? Is there a way to write a genderless book? Is gender an important part of fiction? Maybe it's my northernness. Maybe this is the problem, that it sees an exclamation mark as feminine. I mean, I know that you will find exclamation marks in my work, but I don't like them that much because I had it drilled into me that we shouldn't necessarily need to use them. However, this story is written in a diary format, which means that's why you get more of this whole exclamation mark at the beginning, and you get this more conversational style because this character is writing to themselves really and just screaming into the void about their situation, and that's how you're getting this information, and you aren't getting any sort of linear information here. I just found it so exceptionally strange that just this one sentence, exclamation mark, was enough to have me gendering this character, and then had this whole debate in my head regarding gender and punctuation and whether there is actually a correlation between the two, or whether I have just ended up in some sort of very misogynistic place in my own head where I ascribe certain genders to certain punctuations, not for any other reason than I believe that they belong to a certain gender. Do I believe that they belong to a certain gender, or am I just going through it after a night of not sleeping because I was thinking about an exclamation mark making me think about gender? I would actually like to hear what you think about this topic, whether there is actually a topic here to discuss. Do you believe that there is some sort of correlation between gender and punctuation? Or do you think that this was just a mistake that I made, having read too much into something? Or do you have completely separate thoughts that you would like to discuss with me? Because if you do, please feel free to discuss them in the comments. I hope you got something out of this video, and until next time, that is all.